All right, this is one of those things that we talk about a lot off camera. Usually when we're just hanging, we bring this up, and I don't know if we've ever come to a clear conclusion, but why do prestigious Asian excellence groups avoid mentioning JK?
Probably because they don't want to be associated with us, or we're an embarrassment, and we're like a stain on their underwear.
You really had to ask that?
What the hell?
I just kidding.
Damn, Banos got us, dude.
But the real answer?
Wait, I mean, we used to go to like Korean events, like, and then they, when they had a magazine, they're not around anymore.
Now they've got Gold House, Unforgettable Gala, Asian Hall of Fame, Jewels of Asia Gala. There's a bunch of them. There's the Asian Excellence Awards.
Oh yeah, Gold House is ran by Bing. He's cool. Like, we met him before. Well, I don't know. I kind of blame myself for, to be honest, like I make fun of them all the time, but I'm like, I also am not a socializer with them.
But who are you supposed to socialize with?
No, I think like there was a time when me and Bart were more actively going to these events, like collaboration and all that. And I think when you stick around the circle, you do get invited. But like we kind of kept to ourselves after a certain time.
But do you think even though you're keeping to yourselves, like...
I think Joe's trying to be mayor.
I think you're trying to be mayor. When it comes down to like listing, oh, here's all the Asians that strive through the independent Asian era of YouTube.
Conveniently leave JK out?
JK's just like, they skip that whole shit. And JK's still going like way farther beyond than a lot of these people on that list.
To be honest, I think we're not big enough. Because I would make that argument that we're just trash. But it's like, if you were really big and still trash and they denied you, then I would make that argument. But we're not big enough and we're also trash. So they're gonna not risk themselves.
What do you mean by trash though?
Like, we're not advertiser friendly.
Okay.
Like, when you look at me, right? If I became the president of Asian America, you could already see the fucking yuppie Asians right now, the Harvard Asians going, oh, the white people are not gonna look at us with respect, because that's really what they care about. Yeah, they want white approval, so they really want that so bad. So
yeah,
it's like like Bobby Lee's fucking absolutely got hella accolades, like he's deserving of it, right? Yes. But he also talks about how he had to suck a Down syndrome dude's dick.
That is true.
So like, they want Daniel Day Kim, not Bobby Lee, even though Bobby Lee is crushing it right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But he gets invited. I just think he doesn't go.
The weird thing is though, like you have some things whenever it's not them, right? When it's not the prestigious fancy group, and you got like independent films like Didi, right? And they're willing to mention JK. There's a scene in this movie.
Sorry, this is just a quick pause. I watched this movie. I had never heard of it. I watched it on a plane very recently, maybe in the last year. Yeah. And then when I saw you guys pop up, I was like, what the hell? This is so random.
That's what I'm saying. It's like the people, like that were there during that era, they're willing to.
They'll put us in like the chronological, one of the main milestones. Yeah. But I think the real answer, what he's talking about, are the actual string pullers.
Right.
They're a bunch of bitches. So when they're a bunch of bitches, they're scared to admit certain. So like, imagine like what's the prestigious comedy award? Is it the Mark Twain Award, right? So they will give, Dave Chappelle an award. They'll give Kevin Hart an award. Look it up. I don't think they would have given Tom Green an award.
Tom Green.
Even though Tom Green, I think, made a huge fucking impact in the TV to internet transition era. Yeah. And he was like that indie comedy guy that kind of made his own format, revolutionary. But if you don't fit that mold of like, I can brag about you, I think it's hard to place them in. And I think that's what JK was.
Here's some recipients, just for context. From 2026 back, so you got Bill Maher, Conan O'Brien, Kevin Hart, Adam Sandler, Jon Stewart, Dave Chappelle, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, David Letterman, Bill Murray, Eddie Murphy, Jay Leno, Carol Burnett, Ellen DeGeneres, Will Ferrell, Tina Fey, Bill Cosby, and George Carlin.
Yeah, all the war criminals.
What?
So you think of like legacy comedians, right?
Yeah. Mainstream.
But you think of people that had a huge impact, like Tom Green at the time, or maybe like Andy Milonakis, like people that like arguably would have had bigger numbers or a bigger impact on the actual people. But if it doesn't fit that legacy mold, oh, can I see a yearbook picture with all of them? It's hard for them to include. And
I'll give you an example outside of the Asian world. The Paul brothers.
Okay.
Hella controversial figures, right? Yeah. We're not even that crazy.
No, yeah.
But they've crossed over to mainstream a couple times, and they have a ton of top people in the mainstream world that will come into their world.
Uh-huh.
But do they get invited to, you know what I mean? Like all these like
I don't think they would.
maybe, right? But still, I think it's the whole like corporate sponsor taboo stuff.
Yeah.
I think Asians are actually extra safe.
Okay, I believe that. Yeah.
So because of that, so David's a good example where David is not even as crazy as we are,
Yeah.
but he gets the same like we can't touch this dude.
Yeah.
And because he's outspoken, right? So like even the way that he criticized Shang-Chi.
I thought that's probably what did it for him. Because once he was at odds with Simu Liu, and Simu Liu's in perfect alignment with, you know, this business model, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
But David goes, all those fucking Gold House people, when they're at a party, every single one of them comes up to him and says, I wish I could say the things that you do. Everyone's a fan of David. So he's the people's chap. That's what I'm saying is like, in reality, okay, so you have this facade, like this award system that no one actually believes in, right? It's just a manufactured thing. Okay. But we have the people's champ. And I think that everyone knows the reality is like when you talk to everyday people, they'll tell you who the legends are. Well, yeah. Tim DeLaGhetto, us, whoever, right? And then it's like, but that's the actual numbers and the actual like influence. And then you got like a manufactured.
This is who you should look up to.
Yeah, they have plants, right? Or they have someone who's got like 5,000 followers, but because they play the Hollywood game really, really well, they made a lot of different appearances. And then like they'll get awards and stuff, and then they'll be celebrated because they're safe, good puppets.
Maybe you guys have also been too independent, where you can't really be controlled. You know what I mean?
I think that's the main thing. It's not even like talking about blowjobs or anything like that. Yeah. It's just that we are a wild card and a risk.
Because I found it so weird that like a few years ago, I remember that Bretman Rock had done some kind of, I think it was like an IBM paid advertisement thing with them, and they were asking him who was your favorite this.
I think it was Spotify, but yeah.
Oh, it was Spotify? Okay, they said like what's your favorite podcast, and he said JK News.
Yeah.
And that was only like a few years ago.
Yeah.
So it's like there's people who are I guess like I don't know if he's generationally considered now, but they're mentioning it.
Well, there's a lot of people that have shouted us out, which I'm really grateful. Like even when Phil and Angry Asian Man, they created the book, like Asian Americans through internet.
I have that book, yeah.
There's a part of JK in there, and then shout outs to them. Like that's so cool. They didn't have to do it, but they acknowledged JK. Brett Man, or even Theo was like, oh, JK News is fucking crazy. They're like, you know, I think it is cool. I think like, although like we never really played ball with them. And at the time, it was like we were just doing our own thing. But I do see the importance of us, if we have a chance to play future ball, because even though we might be like the people's content creators, it's only a matter of time before we get wiped out of history books. I mean, and then when they look into history, they're like, JK is nothing. So that's why it's good to have these awards, because they're forever ingrained.
Right. Milestones.
Yeah, milestones, not only for the actual history itself, but for our fans. Because like, you know, when you're like, when you tell your buddy, oh yeah, this is my favorite band. And you're like, oh, you ever won a Grammy? Or like, no. Then it's almost like the fan doesn't have anything to kind of lead with.
Yeah.
You know, oh no, they're just as good as AC/DC. And you're like, oh, are they platinum? No. You know, versus they're like, oh no, yeah, JK, yeah, they're good. They won this, won this. So it gives our fans some fuel as they want to like go out.
Yeah, that's why I think like even though when I say JK, I don't include myself in that. I feel like alongside you guys, when I was doing Quest Crew stuff and seeing everything you guys are doing during the heyday period, it was great to see people be non-stereotypical Asians. Whereas you guys were ruffling feathers, you were more outspoken, you were less behaved. And I feel there's a double standard, and I take it personal when I see Asians, once they can finally make their lists of who's the influential people, and they pick the most behaved Asians. That pisses me off because I'm like, what happened to the ones who were trying to break those stereotypes and go outside of that expected image? And I'm like, I think it's a little bit of a double standard if you don't at least honor some of them.
That's like listing black leaders and then you conveniently leave out Malcolm X.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
What the fuck? He was very influential.
Right. But you'd have to be like MLK, Malcolm X, Louis Farrakhan, like whatever. But then in our Asian like prestigious world, the prestige became like almost like the white adjacent prestige that people accuse Asians of being.
Yeah, but it's a mark to me. I don't take no offense to it because that whole thing is like there's a plan behind it to get like films and projects greenlit.
Sure,
it's a business.
yeah.
It's a business thing,
yeah,
right?
Okay.
But I don't look at that as like those are the Oscars, and then they're like,
It's not like a Grammy you're missing out
no,
on.
it's not like I'm a musician and they're like fucking me on the music. Like
Okay.
Winning a Gold House Award or being recognized does nothing for me. If I was a musician and if I was always being snubbed on the Grammys, or like Leo with fucking
Oh, sure. Yeah. Okay.
Scorsese,
Oscar?
like it's that to me would have been like, no, they're masters in the field. You should fucking recognize them for that award. But I don't really see Gold House as a thing that we're not even the same in my mind. Yeah, it's just that Asians don't have a place. So they only got that as an option.
All right.
But it's kind of like I would probably want to be more with like VidCon. Like that would make more sense to me. If I'm like VidCon didn't recognize, which they don't, right? But that would be more of a prize of like, oh, we got recognized there than Gold House. Yeah.
I see that. I just wish that they gave as much attention to the irreverent side of Asians. Yeah. Because I think that to me was the biggest that was the hardest you could go against the grain of what we were all expected to be.
Yeah. Pushing the boundaries and changing the culture, that's a big one.
And you could see their where their preferences lean. And I think that's the part that sucks, where it's like you can see that if like let's say Wang Fu, for example, came out with a project, how much dick suckery goes on with that. Versus like if we came out with the project, it's like there's no acknowledgement.
Dick suckery.
You know what I mean? Because it's like if you're gonna like that in that field, dick suckery is part of it, right? You're like, oh, you want to rub elbows and shoulders with this group and that group because you're trying to push everyone up. But then when you can clearly tell one is constantly going in one direction, then you're like, well, what about these guys? But then I do agree it is still a two-way street. I need to do some dick suckery in that direction too, in which we haven't. But it would be nice, I think, for our, but I think for our fans, I think they would like it.
That's the thing I'm thinking of, the fans. So like in the way that like I guess there's like a pretentiousness of like, hey, these are the Asians you should want to be like. But then if you don't want to be like those, is there an alternative?
I get what you're saying. There's no representation. Like I always say, like we should have the Cockroach Asian Awards.
G-Gen Asians, yeah.
Because it's just recently that Dumbfounded got accepted into that kind of circle, but he's been in the scene for hella long.
Putting it down forever, yeah.
Clean up his image. He had to be more marketable. He had to change all that. He grew up. And then so like now they're recognizing him. But we used to have these talks with them like, bro, like it's funny that like you've been in the scene for how long? And you made strides.
He was heavily underrated for a long time.
Yeah, but he was also like underground and like kind of gritty and like outspoken and like he didn't watch his like
his P's and Q's.
Yeah. So he made it over there, but I think, and it's great for him in his career. But I think I want to create the Cockroach Asian Awards, and then we'll have everyone that should deserve who made strides in the community.
That's why it's not to say I think someone should be bumped off of Gold House's list. I just think rather than be like, you don't have to say that JK is a role model. Yeah. Just say that they had an influence.
Like imagine how happy the DD director would be if we got a Gold House Award. Yeah. He'll be like, they see what I see.
Exactly.
Right? And he arguably is probably one of the most prestigious because he won Sundance with that film.
But it's almost like if BT ignored everything hip hop because it didn't jive with them.
Right. And they only will put Thomas Sowell.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let us know in the comments what you guys think about this topic. It's a little bit more personal to me because it pisses me off. But let me know in the comments if you think that an honor from that side of the Asian prestige would be of any value